everyone, this is Nickredace coming to a brand new video. This time we're going to be looking at Blue-Eyes Mk2. I made a Blue-Eyes deck long time ago, the far off days of 2016, and this is a slightly more upgraded version of that one. So the main objectives of the Blue-Eyes deck is to summon powerful monsters, XYZ spam, the ability to recycle, and just a ton of special summoning. So we're going to go over some of the cards and show you some battles. So the mainstay in this deck is of course 3 Blue-Eyes White Dragons. It's a powerful card, 3000 attack, 2500, far better than Red Eyes, and as you see in this deck, it's also far more consistent. So the second card is, of course, Blue-Eyes Alternative Dragon. Unlike the Red Eyes, which required you to tribute it, this one just requires you to reveal a Blue-Eyes White Dragon from your hand. You can then special summon this card. You can only do it once per turn this way, just like the Red Eyes version. Its name also becomes Blue-Eyes White Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard. And once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls and destroys it. Now, since it's a level 8, what you can normally do is you special summon it. If you have another Blue Eyes on the field, you activate its effect, destroy an opponent's card, and then use it for XYZ material. Very good card. It's also needed for the big bad boss of this deck. This card specifically. Next we have Maiden with Eyes of Blue, which is a pretty decent tuner. When a card effect is activated that targets this card, you can special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, graveyard. Super good effect. And when it's targeted for an attack, you negate the attack, change it to defense position, and then special summon another Blue Eyes from your hand, deck, or graveyard. You can only activate one of their effects per turn, but usually when you place this out, if your opponent doesn't have instant out to it, or multiple cards just run it over and deal big damage, you're pretty safe. You're decently safe. And with the amount of hand traps, you can be even more safe. Next we have is Sage with Eyes of Blue, and its effect is when it's normal summon, you can add one level 1 light tuner from your deck to your hand, except himself. This is how you get your Maiden with Eyes of Blue, White Stone of Ancients, or White Stone of Legend, both really key cards in this deck. Also, you can discard this card, target one effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard if you do a special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your deck. Which means you can technically use this card's effect, discard it, target Maiden, Maiden's effect activates, special summons a Blue Eyes, Maiden then goes to the graveyard, special summons another Blue Eyes from Sage's effect. Now you have 2 Blue Eyes which you can go into synchro play. Pretty solid card. Next one is Dragon Spirit of White. This card is always treated as a Blue Eyes card. It's treated as a normal monster while in the graveyard. Usually just so you can special summon it again. And its effect is when it's normal special summoned, you can target one spell, trap card your opponent controls, and banish it. And if your opponent controls a monster, you can tribute him to summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Again, solid card, mostly for its effect to just remove back row, and how easy it is to summon from the graveyard. Next we have White Stone of Ancients. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because of center this turn, you can special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your deck. Blue Eyes monsters, practically every monster in this deck, including the White Spirit card. When White Spirit card hits the field, by the way, banish the card. You can also banish the card from your graveyard, target one Blue Eyes monster from your graveyard, add it to your hand. Use that effect to get your alternative eyes back to your hand, and usually next turn or that turn, summon it again. Then we have the cards that speed up this deck. We have Trade In. Discard one level 8 monster, which is most of this deck. Draw 2 cards. Next, we have Return to the Dragon Lords. Target one level 7 or 8 dragon monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And if a dragon monster you control be destroyed by battle card effect, you can banish this card instead. This is 3 of them, because not only does it increase your plays with XYZs, but it also protects your boss monsters twice. Next we have the Melody of Awakening Dragon. This is more of your consistency. Discard 1 card, add up to 2 dragon monsters with 3000 or more attack and 2500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. Which is pretty much, you activate this, send whatever to the graveyard, hope it's a white stone, and then you get a Blue Eyes and a Blue Eyes alternative, and now you have Blue Eyes alternative on the field. Next we have Dragon's Mirror. Now last time Dragon's Mirror was only a 1-of. Now it's a 2-of, simply because it has a very powerful boss monster that requires this card. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. So it's Fusion Summon, one Dragon Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your field or graveyard. Sadly, you won't be able to get those back, but hopefully by the time you get this boss monster out, you've got the game in the bag. Next we have Honest, which is now unlimited, which is a little broken. During your main phase, return this card, face-up card from the field to your hand, if you want. But the main fact is, during the damage step, when light monster control battles, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, and that monster gains attack equal to the attack of your opponent's monsters battling. Then we have the Trinity. We have Harpy's Feather Duster, destroy all spells and traps. Monster Reborn, target one monster in either graveyard, special summon. And Regeki, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Now we're going to go to the extra deck. Blue-Eyes Spirit Dragon is the main monster of this deck, and it's not the boss monster, but it's required to get out your Azure Eyes. When this is summoned, neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time. Not really too much of a problem, and once per turn when an effect card is activated in the graveyard, you can negate it. You can negate the activation. Another quick effect is you can tribute this card, synchro summon 1 light dragon synchro monster from your extra deck in defense position, except itself, but destroy it during the end phase. This is where you summon Azure Eyes to the field. Azure Eyes' effect protects all dragon cards for, I believe, that turn from being destroyed by card effects, which includes itself. So when end phase hits, it's protected by its own effect. That's pretty much the only use. This is a card that's used to transition into Azure Eyes. Now let's go to Azure Eyes. Azure Eyes says, till the end of the turn, neither player can target giant monsters you currently control with card effects, and they cannot be destroyed by card effects. Now its main effect is, once per turn during your standby phase, you can target 1 normal monster in your graveyard and special summon. Now remember, the White Spirit Dragon is considered a normal monster from the graveyard, which means Azure Eyes can summon it. Next we have Heretic Sun Dragon Overlord of Heliopus, and its main effect is, once per turn you can detach 1 material from this card, tribute any number of monsters from your hand or the field, and destroy an equal number of cards from the field. This is a harder way of destroying back row. Say if you're not getting Spirit Dragon out enough, or your opponent keeps stopping you, you can say dump your hand, wipe the back row, and hopefully go for a game. Next we have number 107, Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. Once per battle phase, at the start of your battle phase, you can detach 1 material from this card, and pretty much skill drain all of your opponent's cards. And also their attack and defense become equal to the original attack defense. And during the battle phase, if your opponent activates card effects, each time your opponent activates card effects, it gains an 1,000 attack, and it can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. Next we have Aegeon, the Sea Castrum. This effect is during either player's turn, you can banish 1 random face-down monster from your opponent's extra deck, face up, and if you do, this card's attack becomes equal to that banished monsters. You're never going to have this in attack, this is always going to be defense mode. During either player's turn, you can detach 1 XYZ and XYZ material from this card, then target 1 of your opponent's fusion synchro XYZ monsters and return it to the extra deck. And if you do, destroy an opponent's monster with the same type. Pretty much this takes your opponent's extra deck away, and if they somehow manage to get an extra deck card out, you can then return it and destroy what they have on the field. Next we have number 203, Lancelot, Dark Knight of the Underworld. This card can attack your opponent directly while it has XYZ material, and when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls and destroy it. Once per turn during either player's turn, when a spell or trap card or another monster card effect is activated, detach 1 material from this card and negate it. Next we have number 62, Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon. Now though Prime Photon Dragon can't activate most of its effect due to the fact that it doesn't have Galaxy Eyes in this deck, its main effect of being a massive beater that can increase its attack even more. This card gains the attack defense of the combined ranks of all XYZ monsters on the field during damage calculation. If it detaches 1 material from this card once per battle, it's pretty decent. Of course, all damage is halved because it doesn't have Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon as material. That doesn't stop it from running over any monster your opponent controls. Next we have is Heretic Sky Dragon Overlord of Heliopus. So we have the Sun Dragon Overlord, this is the Sky Dragon Overlord. This card's effect is once per turn when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets cards on your field, or in your graveyard, or in your banished cards. You detach 1 material from this card and negate the activation if you do destroy that card. Then we have Nightmare Phoenix. The main part is, if this is linked summoned, you can discard 1 card, then target 1 spell trap card your opponent controls, and destroy it. Then if this card was co-linked, which it'll probably never be, you can draw 1 card. Again, this card will probably never be co-linked though. So you're just there for that discard, target 1 spell trap card your opponent controls, destroy it. And the second to last card is Brujkin Ashima. And again, this is from the Red-Eyes deck as well. This card's main effect is the fact that once this card is summoned, you can special summon one monster from your hand and graveyard with the same level, and then immediately XYZ summon one XYZ monster using those two monsters. If an XYZ monster's card points to activates an effect by detached materials, you can target one spell trap card opponent controls, destroy it. And lastly, we have the big bad boss monster of this deck, which requires Dragon Rare, and that is Blue-Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon. Your opponent cannot target this card or destroy this card with card effects. It has 4,500 attack, 3,800 defense, which makes it a beast of a beater. And once per turn, you can target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. Oh, I'm sorry. If this card was fusion summoned using Blue-Eyes Alternative White Dragon as material, you can target 3 cards your opponent controls and destroy them instead. So let's get into the battles and show you what you can do. Thank you all for watching. This has been Nickredace, and I'll see you all in the next video. Nickredace, out.